Hello, welcome to Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Yukoya Tade. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines across the continent. Police fired tear gas on demonstrators in the Nigerian capital as they demand the release of separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu. Kanu on trial for terrorism charges linked to the outlawed Indigenous People of Biafra group. Could there be some relief on the way for South Africa's ANC as the party reaches an out-of-court settlement with the company it owed money to? The dispute had pushed the ANC to the brink, with several of its bank accounts frozen. Morocco triumphs over Argentina to win the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. It's the second time an African nation has won the title. Thanks for joining us. In the Nigerian capital, tensions have been boiling over as protesters demand the release of the separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu. Police used tear gas on demonstrators, while there were also reports of gunshots being fired. Dozens were arrested. Kanu, who is the leader of the banned Indigenous People of Biafra group, is currently on trial on terrorism charges. Kanu's case has caused tension in the southeast of Nigeria, where the Igbo ethnic group allege marginalisation by the Nigerian government. Our correspondent Sam Olukoya sent us this update.
Police in the capital, Abuja, used tear gas and water cannon to violently break up the protest. Several persons were arrested, including an AFP journalist whose camera was damaged. The journalist has since been released following the intervention of the French embassy in Nigeria. The protest was called to demand the release of the separatist leader, Nnamdi Kanu. Kanu is the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra. The separatist group want an independent nation from southeast Nigeria. Kanu is facing seven charges, which include treasonable felony and terrorism. The Nigerian government accused him of making radio broadcasts to incite members of the public to attack Nigerian security personnel and their families. The separatist leader is also accused of issuing death threats against anyone who flouted a series of sit-at-home orders he allegedly issued in the southeast region. He allegedly committed the offenses in the course of his separatist struggle. Kanu was arrested in 2021. He has been in detention since then. His trial has been marked by numerous delays. Many say it is unfair to detain him for so many years without concluding his trial. Kanu's trial remains a sensitive issue, especially in the southeast region, where many feel the area should break away from Nigeria. This is on account of perceived marginalization by the Nigerian state.
Well, turning to South Africa now, where the ANC has reached an out-of-court settlement with Elzuweni Investments, a company it owed money to for materials used in the 2019 elections. Well, the dispute has threatened to push the party into hot water financially after several of its bank accounts were frozen. Well, let's cross live now to France 24's Tom Canetti, who joins us from South Africa. Tom, just bring us up to speed with what's happened today between the ANC and Elzuweni Investments.
Well, the ANC's lawyers were set to meet Elzuweni Investments in court on Tuesday, but they seem to have reached this last-minute settlement deal. The crisis had become so bad that the ANC's Treasurer General labelled it as existential, and it basically relates to a debt owed by the ANC to the company for election campaign material worth about the equivalent of 4 million euros. A court order led to the ANC's headquarters having furniture, computers and equipment confiscated and sold at auction. But it also saw some of the party's bank accounts completely frozen, leading to a state of, quote, complete operational paralysis, according to the Treasurer General. She said that it had restricted the party from paying hundreds of its employees across all 9 of South Africa's provinces and from paying creditors for the ANC's ongoing political program. And on top of these financial implications, the ANC also argued that this saga had damaged the party's reputation as a whole, and the party's lawyers were set to go to court on Tuesday to challenge the amount owed to the company and unfreeze the ANC's bank accounts. Now that there has been a settlement out of court, both parties will pay their own legal costs, and both parties have chosen to keep the figure of that settlement confidential.
Tom, great to get your update there. Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed. Tom Canetti reporting live there from Cape Town. Let's take a brief look at other stories making headlines across the continent now. Days of commemorations were capped off with a state funeral for Kenya's longtime opposition leader Raila Odinga on Sunday. Odinga, who died aged 80 in India on Wednesday, was laid to rest at his home in Bondo in the west of the country. Thousands of people poured into the city from across the country to come and pay their respects. His death last Wednesday sparked an outpouring of grief for the opposition leader who spent years fighting for democracy. In Mali, Al-Qaeda-linked militants have issued strict new rules for travelers. Janim is reportedly ordering men and women not to mix, whether in public transport or private vehicles, and that women must be fully covered wearing the veil. Well, it's the latest sign of Janim's grip on Mali. The country has been grappling with insecurity fueled by jihadist groups since 2012. The junta in power since two coups in 2020 and 2021 has been struggling to contain the insurgency. Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa could stay in power until 2030. His ruling ZANU-PF party is reportedly planning to amend the constitution to extend Mnangagwa's term by 2 years. He's supposed to leave office in 2028. Well, the proposal was adopted at a party conference late on Saturday. The 83-year-old, who previously said he would not be interested in clinging onto power, came to office in 2017 after a military coup that ousted longtime dictator Robert Mugabe. In southern Tunisia, the town of Gebes has become a toxic wasteland where trees are dying, fish are disappearing, and a heavy stench fills the air. Residents are pointing the finger at the phosphate plant run by the state-owned Tunisian chemical group. Well, it's been blamed for cancers, respiratory illnesses, and a mass poisoning that has left more than 120 people in need of hospitalization. Protesters have stormed the plants in recent days, and police were forced to open tear gas to break them up. The demonstrators have been one of President Kais Saied's biggest challenges since 2019. Now, Morocco has taken home the Under-20 World Cup trophy after triumphing against Argentina 2-0. Morocco reached the final after beating South Africa, the United States and France in the knockout rounds before defeating Argentina. The win means that it becomes the first African nation to win the title since Ghana in 2009. Norman Bushtika has all the sporting action for us now.
Scenes of joy in the streets of Rabat as thousands of ecstatic fans came out to celebrate their team's triumph in the Under-20s FIFA World Cup. A historic victory which saw Morocco become the second African nation to ever win the competition.
We are delighted with this victory, which we dedicate to all Moroccans. And we are very happy to see an African country win the World Cup.
The game was billed as a major test for the Atlas Lions against 6-time champion and heavy favorites Argentina. Yet it was Morocco who opened the scoring in front of a packed stadium, thanks to a superb Yassir Zabiri free kick that curled straight into the top corner. Sensing his destiny calling, the young attacker then doubled his tally less than 15 minutes later, giving his team a 2-goal lead that proved too much for a subdued Argentina. It was a deserved victory for the Atlas Lions, who dominated their opponents, and an encouraging sign for the future of Moroccan football. Galvanized by the win, fans back home were already dreaming of more successes to come.
We're taking it step by step, like a country that's still developing its football. But our goal is to go very far, and why not win the World Cup in 2030?
Morocco is set to host the next African Cup of Nations in December, and will co-host the 2030 World Cup with Spain and Portugal. Playing in front of their home fans, the Atlas Lions will certainly be one of the teams to watch, with a new crop of under-20s already being hailed as a golden generation.
Well, that's it from all of us on the Eye on Africa team. Do stay tuned to France 24. Plenty more news to come.